G2 and Fnatic has become the greatest rivalry in League of Legends in the West. For so long, we've associated Rekkles with Fnatic as the staple for these teams. He became Fnatic's star and a hope for the team, even when they were struggling.
Both closing in, there's the slow. Xiao goes over the wall. Rekkles comes in and gets the pentakill.
They want the style points. Rekkles is running. He's got the grit. He's got the looking for a pentakill. We're in Sweden. The Swedish guy gets a pentakill.
Rockstar wants to provide the CC.
Triple for Rekkles. He wants a little bit more. Can he get anything else in the exchange? The Quadra. I cannot believe it. The pentakill for Rekkles.
Eventually, he was the last player of the old guard left. With expectation comes isolation.
In general, as a player, like Rekkles has an aura around him, right? It's something that makes him Rekkles, right? It's Rekkles.
It just kind of happened naturally that I had more value than everyone else in the team before in Fnatic, and I personally think that's wrong. So I'm much happier now being like the new guy for a team and not have all that pressure. Now, I mean, Fnatic just now looks like a super aggressive team where everyone's, you know, on the same page, and I can clearly see if I was a problem for that. So I'm happy for them, and I mean, I'm happier here too now. So just a huge win-win.
The void that Rekkles left on Fnatic, though, has allowed someone else to come and step up.
Over, he turns back and he takes down Rekkles. That was personal.
During the pause, the only thing I could think about is how I snapped Rekkles' neck. Like,
Bwipo's always been the guy we've played for. He's a carry top laner. I mean, he can play tanks as well, but even when he played tanks, he was kind of playing them as carry. So the biggest issue they could have run into the split was not knowing who's the guy for the team, and I think Bwipo clearly took that role.
I don't really care about farm. Farming for me is just a means to reach the point where I can kill enemy champions. If I'm stronger than enemy top laner, like I make sure the game feels like it's 4v5. I think that's something that I do pretty well, and I think that's one of the main reasons why Fnatic's looking that strong when I'm ahead, because it's pretty hard to play 4v5.
With Rekkles joining G2, we have been able to see him start to develop with the new team.
I think for G2, when they lose, they don't care as much as we used to in Fnatic. So I feel like I can be just myself, and they don't get annoyed by my ways, which I think maybe was a problem before.
We are starting to see the emergence of two teams with different styles. One based purely on emotion and aggression, the other based on chaos and tempo. We have watched these two teams battle for the title since 2016. The rivalry and the passion has been ignited once again, and we get to watch these two titans fight for the soul of the LEC.
Well, one of those Tibbers is very excited for this game. Just gonna say that. I'm Medic, I'm joined by Caedrel and Vedius. We are here for Fnatic versus G2, and we are ready to rumble. Want to get on the rift, guys? You guys excited?
It's going to be a banger. How can it not be? Medi, Vedi plus Mark. It's like Ed, and Eddie. But yeah.
No, see, I've got it.
You do?
Together, Caedrel and I are Medicaid.
Yeah, and then there's Vedius.
Yeah.
I like it.
I've upgraded. I've upgraded Vedius.
I've upgraded. Okay, well, I'm glad you two are happy. At least I'm happy on the outside, as we're going to get to cast this banger game. G2 versus Fnatic is always bound to be a show, and we know that it's personal for both these teams. We know that they always step up whenever they're playing against each other. I'm really excited to see this bot lane matchup. Yeah. I think that Upset and Hylissang have had an incredible split so far and how aggressive they have been. Sometimes a little too aggressive, but I'm excited to see them match up against Rekkles and Mikyx.
Yeah, I think they're like one of the most, if not the most aggressive bot lane we've got in the LEC. 2v2 kills non-stop, even against XL in the remake. They made it a quick one, stomped the bot, and I just think that I'm interested to see what to do with Fnatic with this bot lane against players like Rekkles and Mikyx.
I mean, I think for Fnatic is their heavy skirmish style, like going for all of these kills, going for all of these fights as often as they can. And the question is, against G2, if some of those skirmishes don't pay off, are you ever going to be able to get back into the game? Because G2 have been so good at closing out games, at locking out their opponents. And although it's taking them a little bit longer than it usually does, they still end up winning most of the time. Let's get on into the action. And into draft.
Oh, banger.
Oh,
Love it.
I've heard this somewhere before.
Oh, yeah?
Isn't it by Linkin Park? Pretty sure it is. Anyway, we enter the draft. G2 on the blue side, Fnatic on the red. Thresh ban, Seraphine ban, Senna ban to kick us off.
Yeah, I think the most OPs now on this patch are things like the Udyr, the Rel, and the Senna. These are the three strongest champions we've seen. And on top of that, the TF is one of the strongest ones. And blue side, obviously more of a target ban orientated side of the draft, whereas red side's more banning away the first pick OP so that you can make sure you can trade off evenly.
I am questioning whether we'll see a huge priority on things like the Azir today. Both Caps and Nisqy have kind of preferred things like the Rise, the ability to have more pressure in side lane, the ability to get that early prio, and then look to roam in the early game. It is still up and available alongside the Lilia, so a couple of strong power picks still up for grabs.
Yeah, Rel's open. The three core OPs on the patch are banned. TF, Udyr, Senna. So the Senna time game's out, the Udyr's out, the TF's out. Now what's left? There's the Rel and there's the Lilia. So you expect one of them to be picked up, and there it is. G2 instantly with the first pick Rel.
Great prediction there. Caedrel Rel gets locked in straight away, and now we'll see what Fnatic decide to answer. Alistar, very common answer into the Rel, and there's the Lilia you were talking about.
Yeah, Alistar has always been matching into the Rel all throughout the day and all throughout yesterday. It's one of the best answers you can get into Rel because you can always combo the enemy AD carry when the Rel goes forward, so it's an even trade-off on both AD carries who can't actually step up into the melee support. And Lilia, obviously one of the strongest junglers on this patch, next to things like the Nidalee and the Graves.
Wonder what G2 is going to pair up as an answer here, with the Lilia taken off the boards. Thinking about whether they do go for the AD or AP jungle. We've seen a fair amount of Nidalee coming out from Jankos, but for now, they're going to prioritize a strong bot side of the map. Rekkles very well known for his Jhin. You do have a lot of 2 versus 2 power with both the Rel and the Jhin combo. The question is then, how will Fnatic answer it as Jankos rounds things out with an Olaf?
I really like this G2 answer towards the Lilia and Alistar. The Olaf just basically counters both of them. You can run through the Alistar combo and you can run through the sleep onto both of them. So really good pick up there, securing a really strong bot lane as well with the Jhin. The Kais is banned out, which is obviously the best answer with the Rel, and then Fnatic instantly answering with the Kalista. So very aggressive bot lanes, lots of engage on both supports.
Yeah, and we know this Fnatic bot lane loves to trade. We were talking about it before the game. We're going to be talking about it more in the game, but this bot lane is going to be very explosive, and a part of the map that we're going to have to pay attention to is after his Samira was nerfed, Kalista is clearly Upset's go-to pick.
Yeah, now you're looking at both jungles and bot lanes picked out. Now you're looking at the mages mid and what do you want to play top. Do you want to pick something like a Tristana Renekton for Fnatic, go for the aggressive AD solo laners that win the lane early and get the Lilia ahead, or do you want to go for more of a well-rounded teamfight comp? Things like you mentioned at the start of the draft, Azir, Syndra, Orianna, control mages with the Lilia, and then just try to get a weak side top laner.
Well, we do already see the Rise getting removed. There's an Aatrox taken away by G2. We've seen Aatrox do some wonderful things so far this spring.
The Aatrox ban does suggest to me that G2 is thinking of something like a Gragas. They have played a lot of it this split when they have to blind pick something. That is usually their go-to, and I think that it's a fair assumption to make, especially when Fnatic like to save their counter pick for Bwipo in the top lane. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like an Azir locked in unless G2 looks to ban it away now.
Yeah, the Echo ban spells to me Syndra or Azir and Orianna. There's definitely control mages coming out here for both teams, and you're right. I think they will definitely save last pick for Bwipo because I think blinding a control mage is very safe. But I really like the Olaf pick from G2 into this jungle support of Fnatic because the Olaf needs a control mage, needs something like an Orianna or an Azir or a Syndra to back him up to get him into the late game because Olaf's a very hardcore early game jungler. The Gold Drinker nerfs has made it so his scaling is not as good. So pairing that with a really strong AP mage should secure you a really strong mid jungle 2v2.
And now as we get on into the second stage of pick and bans, you have to see Fnatic having counter pick here. Will they leave that available for Bwipo in the top lane? They will. Azir locked in for Nisqy, so now G2 have to blind pick their top laner, and Bwipo has already brought out some pretty spicy stuff in the top lane this spring.
Yeah, the only real safe blind open left is kind of the GP, but I think Bwipo would probably have an answer to that. So, like Vedius said, I think something safe, something weak side-ish. You've got a really aggressive bot lane, really aggressive jungler. You need to pair that with a burst kind of control mage. There it is. The Gragas will go into the top. I'm expecting a control mage to round it out.
Yeah. Thinking about what is available, G2 could go for the Rise here. Rise Azir was a very old school matchup that
banned away,
oh yeah, what am I talking about? So it won't be the Rise. Syndra is one option, Orianna is another one. The other two big control mages. Victor is the last one. I feel like the Caps likes to be a little bit more aggressive, and it seems that Syndra seems to fit that playstyle a little bit more. Syndra Olaf, very strong mid jungle 2 versus 2. Could look to play around that if they wanted to, but I think this very much fits into how Caps likes to play.
Yeah, and the Olaf pick basically cements that you're playing a control mage, right? You can't play Lucian Olaf, you can't play things like Tristana Olaf, you can't go aggressive. And that's a Yone last pick.
That is a Yone.
Is that Yone top?
It's Yone top. It has to be. Where else is he going to go?
Okay, so that's Yone top into Gragas. I was expecting more of a frontliner for this Fnatic comp. You have Azir, Kalista, or Alistar. I was expecting more engage, but Bwipo's gone all in for the lane counterpick.
Wow, okay, so from my perspective, when I look at this, I feel like that this is an opportunity for the Yone to just get free scaling up towards the top side. But then I wonder if G2 now just looks to play through the top side of the map, but then maybe Fnatic can then just cross-map and then look to try and snowball upset in Hylissang. Maybe it's just going to be solo kills all across the map. Maybe it's just all about the outplay on the side of Fnatic. I don't know, but what a crazy way to round out the draft.
Yeah, you have such aggressive bot lanes matching up against each other. Now you have this wild card Yone top, which I think G2's probably never seen before. And I think this matchup, Gragas and Yone, it's something Fnatic probably prepared. But I'm worried. I'm worried for this Yone pick. If it falls behind, Fnatic are going to face a really hard late game.
We've got action all over the Rift. Bot lane, top lane, mid lane. Who knows who's going to strike first? It's Fnatic versus G2, and it's always spicy. Okay, I'm just going to quickly give you some Bwipo stats, okay? Because he's playing Yone, he's playing something very aggressive. Actually, I'm not, because Mikyx is looking for a flank position.
He jumped over the
Selfmade.
Yeah,
Selfmade
doesn't know he's there. No, he doesn't. He jumped over the wall. I don't think they know he's there. I'm not sure if Bwipo spotted him out, so when this W comes back up, he can look for the jump onto Selfmade. Wunder is the follow-up. Jankos is around with the Ghost too.
I mean, as soon as Mikyx has the transform, he can look for the knockback here. Selfmade using the extra movement speed, gets knocked back. Nisqy coming in from the side as well. Mikyx with the aftershock, quite tanky, but forced away. And Fnatic able to defend their jungle.
So, Fnatic just barely able to avoid so many level 1 shenanigans. Mikyx choosing not to base. He's actually going to pop his health pot as they path now back together to the bot side of the jungle, which has been warded by Fnatic.
Yeah, I think there's 2 wards traded off here, right? You've got 1 ward on the Raptors from the side of G2, 1 ward on the red buff for the side of Fnatic, so they should know where both junglers are as the game progresses. Jankos looks like he's going to start towards the top side. Pathing into bot is probably the best thing to do here because you want to make sure you're around this volatile bot. Although this Yone pick could be easy to abuse in the early game, I think that Wunder probably just wants to farm up, get some tank items, and make sure that your carries are ahead, because if your Gragas is ahead, that's not going to win you the game. You need your carries to be ahead.
Nisqy already trading onto Caps pretty aggressively here. Both of them down below half HP. Both of them have popped a Corrupting Potion stack, and that Yone really excites me in the top lane, I'm going to be honest. Bwipo with the highest amount of solo kills of any top laner, the highest amount of kills of any top laner, the second highest damage a minute of any top laner, and you put him on the unforgotten Yasuo's brother, who is known for trading aggressively and early, and we see him already doing it here against Wunder. There's just so many cool things in this game.
Ooh, already trading down in the bot lane. Have to be careful, though, against the Kalista. Level 1 with the Ren, very powerful. But let's talk a little bit about this Yone. Level 2 already, looking to get a great trade in. And you'll notice that many Yones like to take the W second to get that shielding. Really helps with the pushing power as well. But going with the fleet footwork, I think that this is a really good matchup for the Yone, largely because the Gragas can do very little to really punish the champion. You expect an early, Thornmail to come through, the resistances, the Bramble Vest rather, as a gank now comes from Jankos.
Ghosting in, Wunder gets the knock-up with the body slam. Bwipo still has a flash to try and get away from this one. Jankos looking for the undertow, lands the first one, and now with a flank of his own, his Fnatic are going for the TPs, counter TPs in from G2, and Nisqy nowhere to go as first blood on Bwipo for G2.
It's an absolute horror for Fnatic. Jankos' pathing was so smart. Caps lands a stun to Nisqy. Nisqy doesn't have the E yet, so he can't dash away. The TP is coming back in. It's going to be a 3v3.
Fnatic always go all in whenever there's an opportunity. Bwipo TPs back into the fray, and G2 are able to walk away.
Yeah, really smart pathing from Jankos there. Although Bwipo did put an early ward and did spot him out, his wave was pushing in. Jankos got level 3 on his wolves, and he realized top was pushing in, and he had the CC to go for the gank setup. Caps matched with the TP. The only problem here is Caps' mid wave really sucks. Nisqy's going to get such a big CS advantage from this, but Caps secures the crap for Jankos, but will lose out on a few mid waves. But G2 gets first blood in the Olaf, and that's what you need in this jungle matchup.
And I think that putting the Yone behind is also really big for Wunder. We were talking a little bit about that matchup and how later on into the game it's going to be very difficult for Wunder to deal with, but if he can get that tank itemization early, then Bwipo's mailing matchup becomes a lot harder. But Fnatic never slow down even when they're put a little bit behind. Selfmade immediately moving towards the enemy Raptors, stealing these away, but remember, these are still only level 1 Raptors as Mikyx and Hylissang now trade off.
Yeah, really important thing here to note is Upset actually did a cheater recall. He's got a longsword, came out of base. They probably pushed the waves and got a quick base in, and Hylissang and Upset were first on the map. They're able to contest the Raptors, so although G2 got the kill in top, Fnatic used that tempo advantage to go to bot side. Mikyx flashed in on Hylissang.
Using the knock up there, Hylissang's going to try and survive, but Caps is there with waiting arms. Jankos secures the kill, and now Selfmade does have his flash to try and get away from this. The undertow connects at first, but instead it's just going to be a fight over the scuttle crab.
Yeah, interesting fight in the bot side river there. They do get away with a kill. Another kill onto G2. Hylissang had the flash, but he knew if he flashed away, he would probably get flashed after and die.
Ooh, Jankos now looking to steal away these camps. He knows he has the level advantage. He hasn't gone back to base yet to spend any of that gold that he's been able to pick up, but already action in the early game, but it's largely going in the favor of G2 Esports. And remember that Yone is being put behind, the Alistar being punished as well, which then concedes a little bit of this bot pressure. Now watches Jankos, covers for his bot lane, helps them push under the tower so that Rekkles and Mikyx can look to get a base. And now when they spend this gold and come back out into the map, G2 can look to be a little bit more aggressive and perhaps attack Bwipo once again.
Yeah, really smart play from Jankos there, but Ups and Hylissang are holding the wave in their face. I wonder if they want to try and unfreeze this and stop them from being able to do that, but no TPs on the map. Wunder's trading onto Bwipo. Bwipo doesn't have the flash.
Yeah, Bwipo is on the wrong side of this trade. Bramble Vest already complete for Wunder, and you can see Bwipo just having to walk away. That early investment from G2 in the top lane paying dividends already. They have a 1,000 gold lead at only the 5-minute mark here.
Yeah, all the lanes are so volatile here. Fnatic have held the freeze. They want to fight to stop the freeze. Hylissang has to flash away for it. Top lane, lots of trading. Caps has to base as well, so trading across the whole map. But G2 eventually crashes bot wave, and they should be up to base.
And as we have a moment to breathe, a moment of silence, I want to ask you guys out in the audience. It's the question we always ask ourselves when we are in Europe. Who will win? G2 or Fnatic? Spam it in chat right now. We'll come in back to your results in just a little while. Now, we have given you 5 minutes of gameplay, and there's a 1,000 gold lead for G2, so I'm expecting this to be slightly G2 favored. We'll see if the Fnatic faithful can stay true to their team and bring that vote back in their favor.
Really important thing to know here. G2, Jankos pushed out the bot wave with his bot lane. They base together and they come back up on the map at the same time, whereas Fnatic, down in tempo, have to catch the waves. Free dragon start for G2. Fnatic cannot answer. The Selfmade even showed top to catch the wave. So G2 will pick up the dragon. Jankos didn't actually base. He just cleared a couple camps, came back, took the dragon, and his bot lane being on the map first means that he's not really scared of any contest.
I will say that what we've been seeing a lot more from G2 this split is precision. Often when we think about G2, especially during the regular season, we talk about chaos, and we've definitely seen a lot of that from this team throughout the regular season, but I've been very impressed with how clean they have been with moving around the map, how they recall together, and there have been some questions as to whether Rekkles has brought some of that, perhaps an element of restraint to some of the aggressive tendencies that we often see from G2. Regardless, they have looked very clean recently, and we know that they want their revenge against Fnatic. Currently sitting at a 1k gold lead. They have a wave slowly stacking in bot. Fnatic have a wave stacking in top. We can see both junglers pathing towards the top side.
Yeah, I think G2 definitely playing a lot more reserved, a lot more smart about where they pick their fights, but I think the biggest problem that Fnatic are running into on the opposite side here is you're playing a Yone top who's actually behind, and he will eventually win the side lane when he gets some items, but the problem is G2's team fight's so strong, the jungle's already accelerated to the point where Jankos is ahead, their bot lane's getting good bases, good tempo, and pushing in bot, and you have this tank scaling top, so Fnatic need to find some way to crack open this game.
We'll see if the fans agree with you that Fnatic are a little bit on the ropes. They do. 77% of people out there in Twitch chat thinking that G2 will take the win. Of course, it was Fnatic who won last time in what was a very bloody affair. We've already got 2 kills in this one. Hylissang going in the bottom lane, looking for Mikyx, looking for that stun. Knock up with Crash Down comes out. Rekkles with the heal, but Mikyx is already so low. Hylissang ticking away. First blood goes to Upset in the bottom lane, or at least the first blood for Fnatic this game.
And another 2v2 kill goes in the favor of Upset and Hylissang. They have been getting these consistently throughout the split. They are the highest kill scorers when it comes to the 2 versus 2. They find an opportunity and they take it for themselves.
Yeah, super good engage from Hylissang here. He notices that Kalista level 5 is so strong, although Rekkles is level 6. He doesn't actually have time to pop the ult because the Alistar is actually running Aftershock in this game, not Phase Rush. When he engages, he can actually tank all of Rekkles' damage. Upset picks up the kill, and that's super important for Fnatic if they want to start finding more win conditions than just this Yone.
You were talking about it, Caedrel. Fnatic need to find a way to open up this game, and at the start of this game, before we even got into it, I thought that it was going to be a lot more about the bot lane. I thought we were going to see a lot more aggression from them, and now we're starting to see it. They were able to find a successful kill, and when you only look at some of the stats from these bot laners, you can see how aggressive they have been. That forward percentage in particular for Upset. Notice how far forward he likes to play in this lane. Look at how high his damage numbers are, and look at how many 2v2 kills he's been able to find alongside Hylissang. 8 now gone up to 9, the current kill leader in the LEC.
Yeah, that 2v2 kill definitely helped them out, but look at the map state. You know, Fnatic had to go back to base, running back to bot, whereas G2 pushed in the wave, Rekkles pushing the wave, moved topside. They're coming to a full lane swap here. I think Wunder's going to go back to bot to catch the wave. Now, the biggest problem here for Fnatic is not only you're losing the Herald, so the G2 are going to be up in tempo, but Wunder can actually clear the waves under the tower. I think he's pretty safe, he's pretty tanky. He has the long-range wave clear with the Q and with the ult, so G2 should just be at an advantage here when it comes to pushing down these towers and getting the plates on sides.
It feels like G2 are trying to mitigate any options that Fnatic have to try and snowball the early game, and the only real risk they have to worry about, notice that Nisqy is starting to roam down, they're looking for the dive.
Hylissang already underneath the tower, Upset trying to do the damage that he can, explosive cast from Wunder. Hylissang tanking this up, he is sacrificing himself for this play, but the base call will get him out just in time. TP's now from G2. Upset takes 2 tower shots and immediately is killed. Wunder takes another as Hylissang dives into his demise. Nisqy has to flash the wall, and it's all gone sideways for Fnatic.
Wunder with the huge outplay in the 1 versus 2. This is a play that Fnatic love to make. They tried to get that kill onto Wunder, but he just straight up outplays them. G2 now ballooning this gold lead.
Yeah, most top laners here would back off, but Wunder knows he's tanky enough to stop this dive. You can see the idea from Fnatic. They're going to use the Fate's Call to pull Hylissang back to drop the tower aggro so he stops dying, but they don't actually have the damage to kill Wunder. Nisqy's late, Selfmade's on the top side of the map. It's a 2v1 dive. TP's come in. Wunder picks up a double in the dive, and that's what G2's plan was this whole time. Just swap the lanes, put Wunder into their bot lane. Let's play for tempo, and they go for the dive, and it fails.
They even get the flash from Selfmade as well, but the awareness from Wunder too. He saw the plan from Fnatic, and he immediately changed his target focus onto Upset so that he got that auto attack, made sure that he got the damage down so that the tower would get that kill. Man, extremely well played from Wunder.
Really importantly as well, he got the body slam in, stopping the rend coming out from the Kalista. Kalista was then too far away to get the rend in. Gragas was never low enough HP to get executed. Great stuff from Wunder, great stuff from G2 so far. You can see Wunder with a 1,300 gold lead over Bwipo. And remember, we talked about this Yone is a key carry for Fnatic. He hasn't had that free scaling lane he was looking for.
Yeah, but G2 playing so well around it. Look what they've done again. Let's re-swap the lanes. Put Wunder into their bot lane again. Let's put our bot lane into Bwipo. How can Yone actually play the game to actually be able to carry the game if he's facing a 2v1 lane? He has to roam and try and find picks, but this Yone is so far behind in CS, he can't force a 2v1. Even if Selfmade's around, I think G2 just win because they have TP on Wunder. So I think no matter what Fnatic tried to do here, they just have to match lanes. You can see Bwipo is essentially run from the bot tier 1 all the way to top. He will be in time to catch his wave, but that means Fnatic's bot lane loses the bot wave.
And have a look at this. The bot wave is even being pushed underneath the tower. Rekkles gets himself another plate. The dragon is just about to spawn with Jankos in position on the map as well. G2 are just... their map play is flawless right now, it feels to me, Caedrel.
Yeah, and they still have the Herald, right? They got 2 platings top with the lane swap on the tempo advantage. Then they got 2 plates in bot again with the pressure advantage and the time advantage that they had to get to these lanes. They pick up the dragon. That's 3 neutral objectives to G2 in this early game. 2 dragons and a Herald. They still have the Herald to use. Now we'll have to see, do they want to use that bot to crack open the bot tower and get your bot lane on the map? Or do they just want to use it mid to chunk at that tower? But yeah, G2, 2k gold up. They're playing flawlessly in this early game.
And although a lot of that gold is sitting on the top side of the map, they're still funneling resources and gold into Rekkles so that he can carry later on. Caps a little bit behind in the mid lane, you can see, just slightly behind in terms of CS, but that Syndra will still pack a punch as we get to those later fighters. 4 minutes on the 3rd dragon of the game, 16 minutes for that 3rd, 21 minutes for the Soul. It's a very quick Infernal Soul possibility for G2.
Flash in from Hylissang, he gets a double knockup. TP behind from Wunder though.
Immediately G2 going for the TP, the Magnet Storm coming out as well, and here comes Wunder. Gragas is angry as Upset flashes away, but the explosive cast locks him against the wall. The blast cone is there for Upset to try and get away. Selfmade coming down for the fray as well. Hylissang looking for the stun here onto Mikyx. Upset just about dodging away with the cleanse, able to survive. Shuffled back. Wunder goes into the back line. He's put asleep. Hylissang knocks him up. Rekkles comes in with a 4th shot to get 1 kill. It's a 2-for-1 in the bottom lane as Jankos now joins the fight himself, but instead will just force Fnatic to back away.
Fnatic finally find a skirmish.
Ragnarok Stride Breaker! Sink the axes in the back of the Ox! And it's another kill over to Jankos.
Jankos is able to equalize the kills, ends up being 2 for 2 overall, but this was much needed for Fnatic. The question is, do they actually get anything off the back of it? Because this mid tower is going to fall in favor of Caps, and it feels to me like G2 is just getting more on the map. Fnatic tried to make a play happen in the bot side, and they end up getting, overall, they end up getting punished.
Yeah, as we look at this replay, I think what Hylissang's idea is, we have a stacking wave, we have Nisqy's TP. If we can flash on them and chunk them out, even if we force their flashes away, we can look for a 3-man dive afterwards, but they don't account for Wunder's TP behind. Comes in through the back now. It's crazy to me that Upset lives for so long. The flash away from the body slam actually kept him alive for so long. Nisqy's TP does eventually come in the end. It turns into a 4v4, but I think Fnatic are just at an advantage favor, and I think Bwipo got some top plates, but Caps got mid tower, and that dodge from the shot was clutched by Upset.
It's a wanted montage in dodging those shots.
Upset plays this about as well as he can. There's very little that he can do to avoid Rekkles' last shot. And then Jankos realizes after dropping the Herald mid and Caps continuing that push, which allows him to get that tower, that he can actually come bot because of how long this skirmish has actually been going on for. G2 will now extend their gold lead to 3k, but importantly for Fnatic, Bwipo was able to get a decent amount of gold and farm in the top side, so now he's starting to be a little bit more relevant as the game continues.
Yeah, Hylissang just chunking Mikyx there. They have full bot side control. You can see Fnatic have taken all of G2's vision on this bot side river. They've put their wards down, so Fnatic's win condition of this bot lane is starting to show. And like you said, Bwipo kind of back in the game here. He got 2 plates in the top side while that bot play was happening, so he's a little bit of gold in his inventory. Hasn't quite completed an item yet, but you can see Fnatic's game plan play into bot side, and that's why Wunder pushed in top. He's moving to mid. Caps is running from base to bot as well, so they want to make sure that they can stop this push from Fnatic and try and clear out this vision and retake the bot side control, because Rekkles needs to start getting this bot tower so they can unlock the game.
As you rightly said, Caedrel, G2 kind of moving their pieces onto the map. 4-1, playing through 2 lanes, reclaiming a little bit of control, but no, in particular, they have a lot of major items already completed. These Mythics starting to come through. A huge item discrepancy between the 2 bot laners and Fnatic. They don't want to take the gamble of going for this fight right now. They're going to look to reset. I imagine a lot of these items are going to start to come in soon as the Drake is spawning in about a minute and a half. G2 push out these waves, reclaim a little bit of vision, and imagine that we're going to see a big fight as the next Drake comes into the rift very soon.
And before that fight starts, let's just have a look at where we are in terms of game state. 3,000 gold lead here for G2. As you say, Vedius, those mythic items have been complete for G2. Everyone but Mikyx has one. Fnatic have now got the Liandry's Anguish on Nisqy and the Immortal Shield Bow on the Kallisto. A little bit of extra tankiness for upset in some of these fights.
Yeah, you can see G2's bot lane pushed out bot, moved towards the top side. They didn't even drop their wards on the bot side of the map. They don't want to contest that. They want to get this second Herald, because the second Herald can get you mid-tier 2 as well, which is the second most important tower in the game. So if they can crack that open, they'll be able to control the whole map. But Dragon spawning in 1 minute. I wonder if G2 is just going to rush this Herald down, base with Mikyx so he can get his wards, retake bot side control, and then contest this third Dragon. Infernal Soul could be huge for G2. I think Wunder might rotate down as well. Upset, no flash for this fight. It could be really dangerous for Fnatic.
Wunder actually takes down that top tower. He's going to look to push out this wave. Bwipo will have his TP up for the next fight, but Fnatic are trying to take advantage of this.
Caps.
They know. Ooh.
Caps oversteps just a little bit. Hylissang looking for the stun here. Selfmade had a swell seed as well, but Caps is already level 11 and Selfmade's only level 9. Nisqy forced away. Jankos coming down through the jungle, looking for a little bit of this action himself, but instead may just go for the red buff. Meanwhile, Upset has taken the tower in the bottom lane. That gold lead sits still at 3.5k, and there's probably an Infernal Dragon fight on the horizon.
Yeah, but look at G2, how they're moving around the map. Wunder pushed out top, he took the tower like Vedius said. They pushed in mid, and now they're grouping on this Drake. Caps has to join the fight somehow, so he could get caught out by Hylissang here. Maybe he gets caught by Hylissang. Hylissang sitting in the bush, Upset's behind him, but Caps smartly, he's in a base. He has the TP, he can join the fight. Bwipo has TP too. This is the 3rd Dragon. If G2 get this, they're going to be on Dragon Soul point. Fnatic have to find some kind of fight.
Battle lines are drawn. Fnatic TPing down towards the bottom side. Dragon down to 4,000 HP. Fnatic looking for the fight. TP behind by Caps here. Selfmade stepping forward, looking for the lilting lullaby, looking for that sleep. Mikyx dives in! A 4-man Magnet Storm! And immediately Fnatic's hopes maybe dashed against the rocks. Bwipo going in, trying to get kills for himself. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of G2, but in the end, they just wipe Fnatic off the face of Summoner's Rift.
That was unbelievable, Mikyx, flashing into the arms of Fnatic and saying, "Come to me, my friends," as G2 just ripped them apart. I thought Bwipo was able to turn it around, but he did not have the damage. G2 will get the 3rd Drake, they'll get the team fight, and they're looking to get their revenge.
Let's see that again. Mikyx's engage was huge, and Caps' follow-up was even bigger, so Mikyx seizes opportunity. 4-man stacked up, flashed in. 4-man Magnet Storm, and look at Caps' follow-up as well, although there is one stopwatch. He gets the stun across as well with the cask from Wunder, but then you think this fight must be over. G2 must win, but Bwipo with the ult does so much damage, manages to pick up 2 kills in the entire fight. Bwipo didn't even have 1 completed item for this fight. And G2 just setting up the fight perfectly. Jankos 6-0-1 on this Olaf. Man, that was a good engage.
That was a wombo combo. Such a great one from G2 as well. And props to Bwipo, because as you rightly said, Caedrel, he did a huge amount of damage and almost turned that fight around. But unfortunately for Fnatic, it was not quite enough. And G2 now sitting with only 1 Drake away from the soul.
It's not often you see a support with more damage than an AD carry in a fight. That's a pretty sizable
More than top
sum.
laner as well.
Supports are overpowered, I admit it, everyone. G2 currently working with the hands of Mikyx, an overpowered support on the rail, just so strong in that fight. They have a 3,000 gold lead, still 3 minutes on the Infernal Soul for them. and it's a very long road for Fnatic to climb back.
Yeah, G2's next objective will be this bot tier 1. You can see they push in mid, moving 3 members down, going in this 4-1 setup to try and get this bot tier 1, because once this bot tier 1 falls, that's all 3 outer towers for G2. They still have the Herald as well, if they want to use it to crack this open. Bwipo gets stunned, he has the flash, but Jankos might use Herald for this bot tier 1. He could also save it for the mid tier 2, but G2, 3k gold up on Dragon Soul point.
Bwipo, well, his fate has been sealed. He went in, he tried to trade onto Caps and just couldn't do anything about it.
Through the shield though and everything, he just gets one shot by Caps. They're going to Herald this bot tier 1. I think G2 have enough tempo here, enough pressure on the map to actually continue the push. They might go for bot tier 2 here.
The Everfrost coming in clutch there, rooting up Bwipo as he basically dashed in front of Caps, made it very easy for them to lock him down. Now with the Rift Herald on the bot side of the map, Fnatic trying to answer in the cross map, trying to secure the top tower. They won't actually be able to get it because he does not have a minion wave. Fnatic kind of being spread apart right now on the map.
Yeah, Fnatic should be able to get this top tier 1 on the next wave, but look at G2, the Herald, the amount of time that they've got, the amount of push potential they have, are going to pick up the bot tier 2. They're keeping the mid push as well. 4 members of Fnatic towards the top side. Bwipo doesn't have the TP. Looks like he's just going to catch bot, so net advantage for G2. 2 towers and a kill for 1 on the top side.
I mean, it's such a huge advantage for G2. They're 4,000 gold ahead. Fnatic seems to be running all over the map. And have another look at this. Vedi, you mentioned the Everfrost coming up clutch.
Yeah, so Bwipo is going to use his E to try and close the gap. Then the dash in, roots, allows Caps to land his full combo. And of course, he then can't E back because he's locked in place. Beautifully played by Caps and kind of punishing the Yone in the 1 versus 2. You could argue, in favor of G2.
And you might be asking, what does this Yone achieve? Why does this Yone pick come through? Now, Bwipo can win on the side lane. And yes, Wunder is fed, but he can push out these waves and maybe he can collapse towards mid first. So watch what Bwipo does. Pushes in bot, moves towards the mid lane. And then he can find and engage alongside Hylissang. Maybe Fnatic can find their way to crack this game open, because Nisqy has been farming up quite quietly. He is quite strong, single 1.5 items. So if a team fight breaks out, he's the damage dealer I'm looking at alongside Upset to start these fights.
I do like this Randuin's coming through from Jankos early, though, mitigating some of that crit power that the Yone does bring. You have to wonder if Bwipo would even be able to handle Jankos if he moved off into a side lane. While he does have a slight level disadvantage, he could be someone that can answer him. But for now, it seems that Caps is just going to focus on catching these waves. He currently doesn't have the teleport, but G2 kind of spreads. 2 members mid, 2 members top, as Fnatic looking to reset, spend some of their gold, get back onto the map and see if they can look to contest them.
Yeah, but look at the top side vision for Fnatic. All they have is 1 defensive pink ward in their entrance Raptors bush area. That's the only vision that they can actually see. Observers, if you can toggle the vision for Fnatic, all they see is this. G2 have full control around the top side of the map. They can push in top, they can push in bot. So Fnatic, how do they crack this open? How do they find a difference so as they can crack open the vision and actually get some vision of their own? Well, they have to group up. Group up 4 man in this mid wave. Push out. Dragon Soul in 50 seconds. If Fnatic can find some kind of setup, maybe they can find a fight. But G2 are going to push both side lanes on the minimap and they're going to collapse mid. So Fnatic are on a timer here.
I feel like Fnatic are doing everything that they need to do. They're using numbers to generate some element of pressure, reclaim some control over the map. But G2 doing what they often do, then attacking the side lanes. The top wave fully pushed in, the bot wave fully pushed in. Caps getting a chance to go back to base, spend some of that gold, and now TPing back to group with this team. They're looking to fight for this soul.
Yeah, the waves are so important. Top wave crashing. Fnatic's losing top farm. They're losing bot farm. The mid wave's going to get pushed in. Fnatic have to respond, otherwise they lose too much gold. So you can see them clumping up again, catching these waves, trying to push out as much as they can. They have got some vision around the dragon, but 15 seconds. It's tick-tock for Fnatic. They need to find some kind of engage.
The final fight perhaps for Fnatic. Infernal Soul on the line, and G2 already have control of the river. They clear out the control wards behind in the bush. Fnatic stepping forward, Wunder going, he lands the flash cast combo, and Nisqy hasn't got a hope in hell of surviving. Selfmade next on the menu, and you can see Hylissang really can't do too much about this. Bwipo diving in, gets Caps, that's 1. Upset able to get away up towards the back line, and Jankos being chucked down as well. Upset dodging around as much as he can. Bwipo will be the next to fall though, and G2 to sweep up in the mid lane, 4 for 1.
Wunder has just come up clutch in this matchup. He wanted revenge after Bwipo got so many kills against him the last time they met up. He has been on a tear with this Gragas. A huge pick onto Nisqy, set up the fight. G2 are going to break the base, and the Soul is primed and ready for their taking.
Yeah, and the Everfrost follow-up from Caps was huge. Nisqy couldn't actually flash out. He had 1 window to get away from Wunder CC, but then more CC comes in for Caps. They pick up the mid-tier 3. They pick up the Infernal Soul at 23 minutes in this game. They're looking at a 7,000k gold deficit here, Fnatic, and Baron is on the cards for G2 when they next get the setup, when they base, and when they come back out on the map. But there's a TP behind Jankos here. I think that's Bwipo. He might be looking for it. Nisqy's TP too.
Double TP. Nisqy and Bwipo trying to get at least 1 kill here, because they know if at least that they can kill Jankos, they can stop that Baron from going down. But look at the damage from just a single undertow. No tower stands here. Bwipo going in, Spirit Cleave coming out. There's the Ragnarok. Nisqy shuffles forward, and the trade comes in. Jankos! Jankos, that is disgusting! That is not allowed! That was just a demolition of Nisqy and Bwipo, and now Wunder's here to party. He says no man escapes alive. Selfmade next on the menu, knocked back with the cask, and they might as well give it to Jankos. He's done all the work anyway. Mikyx dives in with the crash down. That's another kill to G2.
Olaf gets nerfed, no way. Jungle Roll gets nerfed, no way. Jankos, 2v1s the solo laners of Fnatic. They pick up 3 kills. What can they get off this? Can they push in the waves? Can they look for the Baron?
Jankos, he reminds me of the true Viking. No man gets left alive on the Rift today. He obliterates absolutely everyone. And I saw him in this situation looking like, okay, in a 2 versus 1, I'm going to have to turn and fight. I didn't expect him to be able to kill both. This now sets up for a very easy Baron. There's no one on the side of Fnatic to be able to answer. And G2, from start to finish, have been destroying Fnatic.
Betty, the man, has gone to 3 World semi-finals. He has made it to a Worlds final. He is an MSI champion. You put respect on the name. Jankos showing up once again here in this game.
Yeah, this is definitely a world-class performance from the jungler of G2. They pick up the Baron, they've got the Infernal Soul as well. So 10k gold lead, and we'll have to see how this 2v1 panned out.
So let's watch Jankos in this situation. I think Bwipo is trying to cut off his escape route. Jankos, though, has his ultimate in this play, and he's going to pop it to mitigate all the CC. So he waits. He's waiting for the ultimate to come through. He's waiting for the knockup. He's able to mitigate all that damage. Strike Breaker's in, and just the true damage combined with the lifesteal. Look at the amount of health back that he gets from his W as well. Extremely well played. A lot of right-clicking. Jankos with the 2 versus 1.
Yeah, picks up the 2v1. Wunder TP's in behind, gets Selfmade. They get the Baron. So almost a 10,000 gold lead for G2. Infernal Soul Baron. I think the Fnatic need to find some kind of pick if they want to stop this siege, because G2 have all the tools they need to be able to close this game out.
And Nisqy now just finishing his 2nd item. Nash's Tooth complete. You have got a Rage Blade upset with the Immortal Shield Bow. Only a shield bow so far on Bwipo, though, still only sitting at 1 completed item, and that 10k gold lead is telling right now.
Certainly is. A very impressive performance from G2, and of course, with this win, they will lock that spot in playoffs. The team that has consistently sat atop of Europe. Many question marks wondering around what will Rekkles do to this composition. What will it do to make this G2 roster better? But today, all we've seen is top gap, jungle gap, support gap. G2 have been dominating in all of those supportive roles. Caps and Rekkles haven't really had to do much to help this, what seems like a guaranteed win today.
Yeah, G2 showing us why they're one of the best teams in the world, and they're playing this 1-3. I think they're going to go for a dive here.
That Yone, he's called the Unforgotten, but I'm pretty sure this performance will be forgotten very soon. 2 and 5 is a Bwipo on the Yone. Hylissang looking for a fight here as they go up in the top lane, but there's the Unleashed Power on Selfmade, and he's immediately forced away. Mikyx with a double stun. The Attract Repel doing exactly what it says on the tin. Nisqy tries to jump all in, but immediately he is scattered as one of the weak Nisqy falls, and now Hylissang is next on the menu. Upset, the last man standing, and there is nowhere for him to go. He's caught between a wall and Jankos, and Jankos wins out.
Yeah, Jankos 12-0-6 on this Olaf. This G2 game was absolutely clinical. Every single neutral objectives went their way, all from start to finish. G2 looking, they're just showing up.
What a performance from G2, silencing the doubters with a dominant victory here over Fnatic, and they want one more. They want to add another D to the column for Bwipo. 2-6-1, and G2 take the win and lock playoffs.
Very impressive win from G2. And like huge props to Wunder and Mikyx. I feel like the plays that they made really solidified the victory. The 2 versus 1, 3 versus 1 outplay in the bot lane from Bwipo, avoiding that tower dive. The Mikyx engage at the 3rd Drake. These 2 were such crucial moments that really cemented the lead for G2 and helped them secure the win today.
Yeah, Wunder and Mikyx definitely clutched it. I mean, Wunder and their map movement in general set up Wunder for these plays. You know, they knew that Wunder couldn't get dove by the spot lane of Fnatic, and Fnatic had to send more resources, but knowing where the members were of Fnatic across the map, such smart decision making from G2 on how they move around the map, how they control the game, and that's the reason they picked up all those neutral objectives, and that's how they snowballed the game.
Just incredible stuff all round from G2. You can vote for one of their players in your key player of the game. Vote at LEC on Twitter. Wunder, Jankos, and Mikyx are your options. As much as there's a support there, do not give it to
Medic. What's Jungle Diff supported this game?
No, Jungle Diff was Jungle Diff. There was a bit of a diffy in the whole riffy, let's be honest. But we'll soon be joined by Wunder before Rekkles joins us in the post-game lobby. Don't you guys go anywhere.
Lovely.
Lovely.
systems are overloading. We can't risk another game.
We need to take a break and regroup.
We're starting to lose our mind. Captain, we cannot go back to Elo Hell. Last time it took us months to get out of it.
Initiate break protocol.
Hurry up!
Yes! Yes! I did it! We did it! We did it!
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Welcome back to the broadcast and welcome VoD of G2. Thanks for joining me. Congratulations on the victory. What was your initial expectation on the match against Fnatic today, and in your wildest expectation, did you imagine you'll be playing against Yone today?
Yeah, I mean, against Fnatic, it's always, of course, a bloodbath of a game. They are not shy to take on the fight, and if you feel like we are stronger, they will often contest it. And yeah, I mean, this game, it didn't turn out too good for them. For the Yone pick, I do know that some people like it into Gragas, or I've seen it before. So I did know that he would pick something crazy like Yone or Riven, something in the likes of those champs. But I just think in general their team composition is not really... It's very hard to play against Rel, Olaf, Gragas. There's so much CC and it's so easy for us to team fight against all these champions that kind of has to outplay, where we just have to press like our no-skill buttons and they basically just follow and die. So it was really hard for them, I think, to win in draft already.
Yeah, I would say that was a great execution from G2. And in overall, it was a very, very convincing game. Like, it was a revenge match for G2, and this time they actually managed to repel some of Fnatic's chaotic wild aggression. How did G2 attempt to counter Fnatic's aggressive playstyle this time around?
I think, well, we just got our prior picks on the lanes. We got a draft that we are very confident with, a draft that we should usually look to stack up Drakes early. We should look to take those fights around objectives. And I think as long as we play a controlled game around the objectives, I think it's very hard for Fnatic, no matter what team you are, of course, to beat us when we have a draft like this. So I think we didn't really do anything special. Of course, we know a lot of things about Fnatic since we have played them so many times. We know that they like to TP into fights. They like to do stuff like this. So I think Caps was ready to match it, even though it was not always needed for him to teleport. He didn't hesitate on pressing teleport, so we just had a lot of fights that went in our favor, even more so because we were just ready for it against Fnatic.
So it was a draft difference? Was it a grabs difference?
I think they tried something really creative, Fnatic, and I think we just took what came to us. I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer to pick the champs we did. It fits all of our players really well. I think it's what we have had the most success on. But I don't know if it's like the strongest right now in the meta, but it's what we really strive on. So it was kind of just like I think we made drafts really easy for Grabs, or they did. It was not really his drafting genius that came through because, yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have it. So it's mainly just us players knowing what we're good on, you know, and Grabs is just cheering on us from the sideline.
Okay, fair enough. And I will guess being able to have such a diverse draft is a testimony to the capabilities of G2 players. And this victory actually confirms G2's spot in the playoffs. Congratulations. And it's been a great split for G2 so far. You guys kick off the split in 3-0. Like, Rekkles seems to be merging in really, really well with the rest of the team. Is there anything that G2 would possibly like to fine-tune or improve even further between now and the playoffs to reach even higher level of dominance?
I think we are mostly just looking. I mean, we have like very good players in every position. There are some things that, of course, are different now that we also have Rekkles. I mean, there's things that he used to do that we didn't used to, and we are kind of still like trying to make sure everyone, of course, has like their say in how we play the game. But I think we are getting there so far. There's not really been any big issues for us yet, and I think every issue we had so far we have kind of solved pretty quickly. So I think that just shows that this team, despite any issues that we can face, I think we'll always bounce back, and that's why I think. I mean, I don't really think there's anything game related that we are not open to try. I think it just comes down to the meta right now is and has been like very stale for a long time in terms of like objectives you play for and like how you're supposed to play the game optimally. Of course, sometimes we try to like break the stereotype by picking like Quinn, Echo, champs like this that can 1-3-1 or like break the game in a way that a lot of teams are not used to playing against. But right now we are just we want to of course fine tune the optimal way of playing, since last Worlds the meta just kind of stuck, the Asian meta, and we were not as fast to adapt to it as we would have liked to.
Okay, wow, that is super exciting and also possibly terrifying for other LEC teams perhaps. But thank you so much for this interview and best of luck for the rest of the Spring Split as well as the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we'll be closing off the weekend with PGL with Rekkles. Thank you so much for the great weekend, and I'll be seeing you next week. We'll be back after the break.